Before, we talked about how decision trees can be a powerful tool for prediction. Now we will talk about different ways in which we can combine multiple trees, also known as forming ensembles, to further improve our predictive power. We will discuss two popular techniques to use multiple trees for a model: random forests and boosting. Let's go over random forests first. A random forest is simply an ensemble or collection of decision trees, each of which are trained on random subsets of the data. Each decision tree has the same hyperparameters, but because they are all trained on different subsets of the data, the set of trees is diverse. When we make predictions with the random forest, we will average out the results from each tree. It turns out that if we use the same data, random forest models can perform much better than a single decision tree. This is because a group of predictors tend to outperform a single predictor working on its own. When training the random forest, we can sample data points for a tree in two different ways. One way is with replacement, meaning if a data point is sampled, the data point is returned back to the data so that another decision tree can use that same data point. In this case, the method is called bagging. When we sample without replacement, that means that once we have sampled the data point for one tree, that same data point cannot be used to train another decision tree. In this case, the method is called pasting. We can also train on a random subset of features of the training data for each tree in a random forest, which can make training faster because each tree is trained on a fewer number of features. Next, we'll talk about boosting. Boosting refers to an ensemble method that combines many weak learners into a stronger learner. It does so by training multiple predictors where each predictor tries to correct its predecessor predictor. One type of boosting method is called ADA boost. When training the sequence of predictors, we pay more attention to the training instances where the predecessor predictor underfitted. As a result, the newer predictor focuses more on the hard cases. For example, say we create a model represented by the red curve that fits the initial data. Next, the weights of the misclassified data points, as shown by the darker dots, is increased. A second model is fitted to the same data with the different weights. We repeat this process until we reach the maximum number of models or the data is perfectly fitted. Once the predictors are trained, we can make predictions similar to how predictions are made in random forests. Another boosting method is gradient boosting, where each subsequent model fits the residual error of the previous predictor of the previous model. For example, the first model is trained simply by fitting the features to the labels. Then we compute the residual, or the difference between the actual and the predicted value. Then the second model is fitted with the features as input and the residual as our label. We repeat this process until a stopping criteria is met. To make a prediction, our gradient boosting method will predict with all the trained trees and then add up the results of each tree. To summarize, we described how we can combine multiple trees to form stronger predictors. And here are some questions that would be good to try to answer.